What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Open Field. It is draft day, fellas. We're going our first. Is this PC mock draft 1.0? We're going to be doing some mock drafts. I'm here with Random, Donnie, Radell, Trent, and Hellfire. Good to have you back, Hellfire. In this draft, fellas, we're going to use, shout out to Trent. He got us the PFF mock draft. Shout out to our dog. We're going to do some drafting, fellas. What I want y'all also to do is, because this is also important for our clips, we want to do some of these draft comparisons. So when you select a player for whatever team, also give your draft comp, maybe even some strengths and weaknesses that you have, and then who you see them, maybe high ceiling one guy, low ceiling another guy. And with that being said, make sure I get this link here. If anybody else wants to join the draft, we definitely would love to have you. But please make sure you have some obvious understanding of what's going on with the draft. Please don't be a casual in that regard. If you don't watch college football, then I think you should sit this one out. But with that being said, fellas, I'll add this to the stage right here. Let me zoom in one just to make sure that doesn't seem too far for the stream. Can everybody see that pretty all right? Is that all right, chat?
Yeah, I probably zoom in a little bit more.
Chat, let me know if y'all want me to zoom in one more time, chat. Make sure I zoom this one more time because I want everybody to be able to see the board. So that's my only thing too. All right, I think this will work for now. If we got to zoom out, we'll zoom out. So how do we want to do the picks? I guess what we can do is hold on. Let me pull this banner down. Because we can't really see Hellfire. What we'll do is I guess we can go in order. So Trent, you can go first. Trent, Radell, Donnie, Random, Hellfire. The only thing I really asked, and then we'll go back to Trent and then Radell again. The only picks I really want is I just want the Jets. And then y'all can really decide. And I'll go based off who you guys select. I only want the Jets pick. After that, I'll leave the draft to you guys. I'll chime in, but we'll leave it at that. All right. So Trent, you're on the clock, bud. And we will give you the opportunity to make your first selection of the draft.
I mean, with the first selection of the 2024 NFL draft, the double champ selects. I mean, I think you got to go with Caleb Williams. I mean, we talking about his ceiling. I think his floor is Kyler Murray. And I'm not gonna say, of course, his like highest ceiling is Patrick Mahomes because it could get a little bit OD. But I think it can hit like little prime Russell Wilson. Prime Russell Wilson at his time was a top 5 quarterback, and all the off-platform throws that Caleb can make, hella accurate pocket presence. He can and what's his name. A lot of people sleep on his running ability. He can definitely make some people miss. So I'm gonna go with Caleb, bro. I think
Caleb Williams with the first. Oh yeah, fellas, don't forget you can trade. It just got to make sense. I should have mentioned that earlier. PFF can make the trade. The trade just has to make sense, I think, for it to go through. But that's it. All right, Radell.
You don't even have to. You can force the trade too. Like you don't even have to. Like.
Oh, okay, smooth. All right, smooth. All right, Radell, who you got at number 2? The Washington Commanders are on the clock. It's your world, King.
With the second pick, I mean, you can go a few different ways, to be honest. If I could make a trade, I would throw a haul to get Caleb Williams. I'm gonna be honest. I would 100% throw a haul to get Caleb Williams to pair him up with Cliff Kingsbury. I do like Drake May as a better prospect, but I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels as the second pick. I think he just fits a little bit better with what Washington got going on, and especially with what Cliff Kingsbury likes to do. And especially when you think about that offensive line, it's not very good. So having Jaden Daniels who can actually move out the pocket at an elite level will be good for that team. Obviously, you got a lot of weapons, and you'll be able to work with those weapons with Dotson and McLaurin. I think they let go of Logan Thomas, unfortunately, but they still got a lot of pieces there. If I had to say a comp, I mean, I like Russell Wilson as a comp, like for a ceiling for now. I want to really see how Jaden Daniels adapts to the NFL game. So I'm gonna put a ceiling Russell Wilson, like prime Russell Wilson, not current Russell Wilson, right? And then his floor, I'll just go low bait floor Justin Fields, I'm gonna be honest. So if he could be better than what Justin Fields has shown and reach Russell Wilson, I mean, that would be really good for the Commanders, especially in the NFC, because that thing's wide open.
I like it. Donnie, third pick of the draft. New England Patriots are on the clock. What are you thinking, bud?
Okay, so I think this is when the draft really starts. Because you look at most mock drafts, quarterbacks go 1-2.
Right.
Whether who it is, it's probably going to be Caleb at 1 and 2. Whether it's Jaden, whether it's Drake, a quarterback's going 2. The draft starts at 3 because we don't know what New England's going to do. Are they going to take the last quarterback that remains? Are they going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.? Or are they going to potentially trade down? I think in this scenario, if you ask me right now, which do I think is the most likely? Do they take a quarterback, take Marvin, or trade down? I think it's take a quarterback. However, I'm going to be a little bit different this time because I think it's also very likely they do this. I'm going to say they make a trade down here. I mean, you look at this roster. You look at this roster, man, and it needs a lot of work. Like offense, defense, just everywhere, man. The offensive line is bad. The wide receiver core is probably the worst in football. I understand you have a lot of money, but I think trading down makes a lot of sense. I think a team like the Giants would make a lot of sense trading up.
Okay, so they trade with the Giants at 3?
That's what I think, yeah, because I think you can trade down and you can still be in the range to get one of the top prospects. So I said the Giants.
Okay. Can I add something real quick? While I agree with you about, I guess it is one of the things that they could trade down, I think you stay – Hellfire was talking about before the show. That New England defense is very good. And obviously they're getting Christian Gonzalez back. And I understand that Bill Belichick's not there to man the defense, but there's a reason why they kept Gerard Mayo. And at some point, even though they were losing games, they lost 3 games and they only gave up like 18 points in the 3 games, whatever that crazy stat was. So I understand maybe they do need an edge rusher, but I think that New England defense is a better defense than people give it credit for.
So I think the secondary is really good. I'll agree with you on that. The secondary is really good.
So Donnie, who do you trade in? Are you trading with the Giants for this number 3 pick?
Yeah, I'll say the Giants.
Trade up to 3. Force trade. So the Giants trade up to number 3, and who do you draft in that number 3 for the New York Giants?
Well, when you trade up into the top 3, you eventually take a quarterback. Drake May, you run in the card. I mean, what hasn't been said about this guy, man? I mean, he's been talked about for 2 years with Caleb Williams. I know, and Caleb Williams has gotten the flowers for sure, and as deserved. You know, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. He does all the crazy arm angles, all the outer structure stuff. I think Drake May is not too far behind him, man. I mean, I know everyone kind of throws around the comp a lot of like Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, and I've always said I think he's Josh. I think he's Josh and Albert. Like he's just a mix of both, you know. Like he's maybe not quite as naturally gifted as those guys are, but just a special player, man. Special arm, just great mobility for that height. Bigger dude, also about 6'4", about 230. He can take the big hits. He's smart with the football whenever he has to be outside of structure. I like Drake a lot. I think he goes number 1 overall in any other year. So if you're the Giants, you got to be happy with this.
Right. I like it. Okay, Random. Number 4, Cardinals. You're on the clock, bro. Where do the Cardinals go with the number 4 pick in the draft?
I think the Cardinals just don't overthink it. You just take the best player available. You take Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously, like you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., who in some people have said he's the best overall player in the draft, 6'4", 205. I've seen reports, people saying he's the best wide receiver prospect since Megatron. He's not afraid to get in there as a blocker. He gives Kyler Murray an immediate target, like an immediate big target that they need. Plus, I understand that nobody's being moved by Hollywood Brown, but they could also lose him to free agency. So that's also immediately filling a need for them. In terms of comparison, I've seen a lot of people say he's like Justin Jefferson or even an AJ Green, who I've always been happy about his game. If you want to talk maybe a floor, and this name just came to my mind. I don't even know if this is right. Like N'Keal Harry immediately just came to my mind, but I'm not even going to disrespect Marvin Harrison Jr. like that. I just think he's going to be great.
Wait, why N'Keal Harry though?
It just came like when I was thinking about it, I was like N'Keal, because I'll say this, when the Patriots drafted N'Keal Harry, I was like, okay, I really like the pick, but we saw immediately that he just couldn't function. And Hellfire can tell you this, Tom Brady's very hard on his receivers, so maybe that just wasn't the right place for him, and he just didn't work out. But that's just the first thing that came to my mind. That's why I'm sitting there like, with a floor, I couldn't think of a good floor comp, if that makes. That's why I just went with the first thing that came to my mind. But you don't overthink this pick. You take Marvin Harrison Jr. and you're like you tell Kyler Murray, have Kyler Murray call Marvin Harrison Jr. immediately and fly him out, and let's get to work.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who's next? Hellfire. Who are you drafting here? You got your team. I mean, no, you got the Chargers. No, you don't got your team. You got Justin Herbert and company. Who are you taking with the number 5 pick in the draft?
Oh, so for the Chargers, I would have them going with Rome at 5. I've heard people talk about the Brock Bowers fit at 5. I don't like the fit for him at 5 because that actually limits what Bowers can do because of the weaknesses that he has with being able to be in line, and it would actually restrict him to a degree. I like Rome a lot as far as as far as ceiling for Rome. I can very well see him hitting like a Julio Jones type of ceiling because of how elite he is in contested catches, and he actually is a lot better red zone threat than what Julio was. How physically imposing he is with his frame, the route running, and then with his floor, I could see like prime Brandon Marshall being his floor, which that was still really good, underrated. It would just mean that he didn't fully meet or reach his potential if that's
Right.
what he ends up hitting.
Right. I like it. That's definitely not a bad floor at all. All right. Trent, you got the New England Patriots at 6. What do they do here? What do you do here?
Oh, Johnny trade. So I don't think the Patriots take a quarterback.
Right. So where do you go?
I don't think they go receiver either. At this one, I'm gonna say, damn. This is such a lose-lose situation. This is for the fucking Patriots in real life.
You might just be playing for 2025, honestly.
I would, yeah.
Or you might be getting Russell Wilson. Who knows? Maybe you get Justin Fields.
I'll
take Russell Wilson any day of the week. I'm gonna be honest right now. I will take that.
Nah, I don't think
getting Sam Howell, yo.
I don't think Malik nor Brock. So I'm gonna go Joe Alt. I'll go Joe Alt.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm gonna go Joe Alt. 6'9". Me personally, the best tackle in this class. Yeah,
I think Joe Alt's the best tackle in the class too.
It's insane.
All right,
it's just insane.
Radell, Titans at 7, bro.
Bro, the Titans are screaming for Joe Alt, and Trent just did what he did, bro. The Titans' biggest concern right now is their offensive line. Their offensive line is absolutely terrible. There are some good O-line, but then there's also this guy. There's this guy who's like an absolute animal as a receiver, and putting another weapon for the Titans could actually be huge here since he's still on the board. So if I'm the Titans, I go Malik Neighbors at this pick. He's available. He's an explosive receiver, and you need that explosion, especially considering the Titans. D-Hop is still good, but they don't really have that guy who can make a play. And Malik Neighbors is the most explosive wide receiver in the draft. He's one of the receivers that can take the ball to the house, and he's a really good route runner. He can make he's a really good even catching the ball, of course, and an amazing slot demon. Malik Neighbors, my comp for him, ceiling, honestly, I don't want to hold him to just a slot guy, but I do think he'll be primarily a slot guy. So I think he'll be better than like Amon-Ra. I think he would be better than Apuka. What's a good? Okay, I'm gonna go peak value for Malik Neighbors.
You playing Dallas?
CD. I mean, you do like the CD comp. I'm gonna go CD because it's really hard for me when it comes. I think he's more explosive than CD. Malik Neighbors doesn't really have a comp. Like people even said Tyreek Hill, but he's not as fast as Tyreek Hill. But he's surprisingly very fast. So, okay, let's say CD or Tyreek if he really hits that speed. And then my floor for Malik Neighbors, I mean, I don't expect him to bust, but if he does bust, then that would be terrible. Floor, I don't even know. Floor. Honestly, I don't have a floor for him. I think he'll pan out. I don't expect him to fold in the NFL. I'll be honest.
Okay. What pick are we at? We're at number 8. Falcons. All right. Donnie, who are the Falcons taking at number 8?
All right. This is an interesting pick because this is where we started having the conversation of, is this the first defender off the board? The top tackle is gone, and they don't even need a tackle, but mainly the top 2 or 3 receivers are gone. Marv is gone, Neighbors is gone, and Dungy is gone. I don't think they'd take Bowers because, I mean, if they did, that'd be hilarious, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think this has to be an edge rusher, man. I mean, Atlanta hasn't had that premier set stone edge one for so long, dude. I mean, you know, bringing some guys here and there, but for me, in my personal opinion, the top edge rusher is Latu. However, he does have injury concerns. He does have some really bad medicals. You know, maybe he isn't quite as athletic as a Dallas Turner. I think Raheem Morris is going to want the more athletic guy who wants the guy who maybe he can kind of mold and develop a little bit. So I am going to go with Dallas Turner here. I mean, fair. Just a stupid measurements, man. I mean, he's not even that tall of a guy. He's about 6'2" and a half, 6'3", and just crazy athlete. I mean, blew up the combine, was the most athletic edge rusher there. Stupidly long arms. I mean, just has so much upside and just great run defender. Like, what is Dallas Turner at his best? Someone told me this the other day, and I do think it's really interesting. Someone told me at his best, I think he can be kind of like 2021 Rashawn Gary. Like, that is what he could be at his best. Rashawn Gary in 2021 was legit a top 8 edge rusher in football. Obviously, a little bit up and down. And I like that comparison because this is another guy who's a freak athlete who needed some development coming in and was a day one good run defender, but you kind of needs to be molded into that. What is Dallas Turner at his lowest point? I think I don't want to say like a Caleb Chase on because I think he's way more developed than a guy like him coming out. But something I will say, who's a good comp from like at his floor? I'll say Hassan Reddick when he was on Arizona.
Okay.
So just a guy who never really quite got the right coaching, was never put in the right situation to develop. And then by the time he did, obviously he had that breakout. So I'll say something like that. So even though I'm not personally high on Dallas Turner, I understand why you take him this high because the ceiling is very high.
Okay. I like it. Number 9, the Bears are back on the clock. Random. Who do the Bears take at number 9?
So I'm looking since they've decided to go with Caleb Williams and they're starting a new era. I would rather protect my investment. So I can't say his name though. I've been legitimately
Olu Fasanu.
Yeah, Fasanu. That's from that. Yeah,
Olumuyiwa.
Oh no, I can't say that name either. Yeah. No one can.
I want to say it's Olumuyiwa. Either Olumuyiwa
Fasanu from the tackle from Penn State. You secure his blind side from everything I've seen. Because everything I've seen, he did very well at the combine. He's the only person ahead of him as a tackle was obviously Joe Alton, and I know the Chicago Bears are fucking cussing out the Chargers right now for taking Joe Alton from him. But from what I've seen and learned about him, they give a lot of comparisons to somebody that J-Rab you know well, a quiet guy for your guy. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, he's been getting a lot of those comparisons. A guy who wasn't there a stat man. That he tackle. He never missed a practice or something like that. Just somebody, he got great size, he's strong. Somebody that you could anchor your line behind with Caleb Williams for 10 years. And I just think you protect your investment. I can't really think of a floor for him. This is where my knowledge of I don't watch too many Penn State games, so I can't.
So I would give a floor. Nice. I would give a floor of a guy by the name of Ryan Clady, who used to play for Denver.
Okay,
that would be the floor that I have for him. Quite honestly.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with the Jets here. I'm gonna take this Jets pick. I'm actually gonna take the Ravens too from you. I'm gonna take the Ravens and the Chiefs from you. Actually, I'll leave the Chiefs for Radell. At number because he'll lose his mind. New York Jets. So honestly, I'll be quite frank. I don't think Rome is landing at 5. I think Malik Neighbors is going to end up going ahead of him. Something just in my heart tells me that's gonna happen. The way people are talking about Malik Neighbors, I actually think Rome will fall to the Jets. But if this were to turn out the way it is, if I'm the Jets, I know we need a tackle. But I'm honestly looking more into free agency to get a veteran tackle than to get a rookie. I think tackles, quarterbacks, they translate a little bit slower to the NFL than other positions. I think we need a wide receiver. I mean, honestly, we paid for some guys last year that really didn't give us much production. I think Alan Lazard was not the guy to be a wide receiver to. Mecole Hardman is a diva. And Randall Cobb, I mean, it's time to retire.
Heart,
yeah, bless your heart, brother, but it's over. So with that being said, and if this player falls here, I think because if he fell to 10, I think the 40-yard dash was a big, needle mover for people. However, when you run in a straight line with balls being thrown at you at 20 miles an hour, 21 miles an hour, that means you're pretty damn fast on the football field, and that's what we're playing here. So I think when you get him around a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I think the sky's the limit for a Keon Coleman type of player. I think the Florida State offense really limited what he can be. To be honest, my comp for him has always been like a taller but poor man's version of Jamar Chase. I just think the athleticism, the physical gifts. Jamar is obviously a faster receiver. I think better deep threat, obviously. But when I look at Keon, I think he's better. I think he'll be a better contested catcher than what Jamar Chase is. And I think his height and size will give him a lot of leeway in the NFL. I think that's his ceiling. I think the floor, Mike Williams. I mean, I think Keon really has a really good toolbox. I mean, ultimately, I think he's like a big piece of clay. I think you got to refine some of his skill set. But I mean, the athleticism, you can't teach it. I think he has pretty damn good ball skills at his size. I don't think he has bad hands. And I really will say this: if you watched Florida State's offense this year, I mean, they really didn't ask Keon or any of their receivers for that matter to really run the route tree. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's fallen to 10. I think in another situation where he could have really thrived as a wide receiver, as a route runner, I think we'd be talking about Keon Coleman in a different light. So I think at 10, the Jets go get another weapon to pair with Garrett Wilson, give Aaron Rodgers a guy, and I think Keon Coleman is that player at 10. Hellfire, you can take this Vikings.
Okay, so this is one where I feel like I'm super conflicted because knowing the situation they currently have at quarterback, we do have a gut feeling that Kirk's going to come back as far as being healthy, but he may not be in Minnesota next year. So I'm going to cause the first somewhat controversial clip of this here. I think Minnesota's prime JJ McCarthy territory, whether people like it or not. It's because even with the inexperience with his reps, it's the fact that they have they have the flexibility to be able to develop him. The flexibility to be able to develop him under that scheme the best way that they possibly can. Like that could be Minnesota's Brock Purdy at his floor. So I do have Minnesota going JJ McCarthy.
Minnesota's Brock Purdy.
I mean, shit.
That is at his floor, and that is with inexperience, knowing that he didn't really get a lot of reps passing the football at Michigan because of the scheme and because of a quarterback competition that took place not once but twice in his Michigan tenure. And that's also with knowing how he has that kind of skill set. Like he's not the biggest needle mover athletically, but he is able to do everything that you ask of him. Minnesota's Brock Purdy at his floor, and when it comes to his ceiling, I'm definitely buying a lot better peak. Like, I mean, I almost wanted to say peak Kirk, but better, but that would be kind of an insult. That means he's not really moving much.
Right.
I can definitely see him evolving into what people did not think that the Jordan Love type would evolve to. And as we see Jordan Love sat for multiple years, seeing what Jordan Love is now and having him be able to improve, I think if JJ McCarthy reaches that ceiling, it's going to be a neck and neck, that battle between them two, not just for the division, but for the NFC for the next decade. Like, we're going to get that kind of feeling back in that division while Detroit ends up falling off to the wayside. I definitely see that happening.
Nah, I feel you. Yo, I'm actually gonna take this pick right here because honestly, I just gonna take this one because I know if I give it to Trent, he's gonna be so dishonest about it. So I'm gonna draft this player right here because there's just no way that if we're gonna allow this to stand,
bro, no way.
Yeah. You already know,
bro. Why are you trying to take your veto, bro?
Yeah, I'm taking the veto here.
The
The Denver Broncos, the Denver Broncos are taking the Denver Broncos are taking Michael Penix Jr. at the 12th
he's not
pick.
going top 12.
The Denver Broncos need a quarterback. They need a quarterback. They need a quarterback bad. They are entering an era where they could
just trade back and take Penix.
Russell Wilson.
Thank you, Randall.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Fine. Well, can I go back?
You can't go back. You can't go back.
All right. Well, we here now, Trent. It is what it is. Michael Penix Jr.
Hey.
Ceiling. Warren Moon. Floor. Geno Smith. So, I mean, you know the R talent.
I like Penix with Sean Payton. Come on.
Chris Roberts, you're talking about love over drafting. They just took somebody just took JJ McCarthy at 11. Hop off my nuts.
Even though we disagree, JJ being the first quarterback, it's more likely JJ's going top 11 than Michael Penix going 12. But
is it though? Like Sean Payton needs a quarterback. Nah, I don't think so. So I feel like Penix can do exactly what Sean Payton
Who J-Rob
took, I would not be surprised if Payton
at 11. But who J-Rob took, I almost took at 11 because it took everything out of me to not take him at 11 because I knew it was
come on, bro. And he cleared the medicals.
Better than McCarthy, bro. Come on.
And he cleared the medicals, bro. He cleared the medicals. I mean,
I got the Raiders.
Yeah, you got the Raiders. Go pick Spencer Rattler. Let's just all go for it. Let's just go for it, bro. Let's go for it. Let's just go for it, bro.
I think what's his name, bro? I think the Saints would go both. I don't think the Raiders.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
But like what you were saying, but the thing is though, bro, they got Michael Mayer because Brock Bowers falling as far as crazy.
That's what I
was about to say. Like, why haven't y'all put Brock Bowers on the board yet?
Brock Bowers is
him picking JJ kind of changed things.
If you want to talk about J-Rob, you talking about fitting the mystique of what AP is trying to bring. I think they go with Byron Murphy here. Murphy from Texas. I think he's probably the best interior lineman in this draft class. I can't give a specific ceiling, but I think I can't give a ceiling for him, bro. I can't think of a good ceiling.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they go Byron Murphy here. But damn, Brock Bowers about to.
No,
Brock Bowers for the
14. There's a lot of mocks that are having Brock Bowers fall to the Colts or to the Bengals because if he's not getting picked by certain people early on because of maybe Malik or Rome, this dude can legit fall multiple rounds.
Damn, if he goes to the Bengals, multiple picks. Boy, the Bengals better win that Super Bowl, boy.
Hey man, Brock Bowers and Jamar.
And if they don't win, we're gonna have some
Brock Bowers falling to 13, 14, 15. It could happen. Depending on need, it could happen. I mean, somebody might get caught in best available. Like I think Chargers may take best available. They may go Brock Bowers. So
yeah. So
that's
the reason why I don't.
Hold on, Hellfire. Let me let Radell get this pick on. Radell, go ahead, Radell.
Yeah. All right. Grant, I got your Saints here. You know, I know y'all. I think you all said something about Bo Nix, but to be honest, they're keeping Derek Carr and they're going to fix that offensive line. That is what's going to happen in the draft. Because that offensive line is really bad. Like 100% is very bad. I was watching like, bro, Derek Carr can't move and now he's getting hit all the time. Damn, that's why he's always checking down the ball to Alvin Kamara. It's disgusting. So I'm going to go. There's some picks. You go JC, Marius. I'm going to go Troy Fautanu in this pick. For the Saints. He's a good offensive tackle. He was huge in protecting Penix, and I think he'll do a good job in protecting Derek Carr as well. I don't have a comp for him, but I do think that the Saints, as of right now, they have a team, especially on the offensive end, that they want to retain for the next few years. So I'm going to keep on building an offensive line and hope Derek Carr figures it out for sure.
I like it.
I have a good comp if you want me to throw it out. I'm a draft nerd, so yeah, my bad. No, Troy Fautanu. I mean, every time I watch, like, there's a big debate right now going on with him of like, should he play guard? Is he a tackle? There's been a couple guys like that who have had that debate. One of them ended up being a very good guard. Another one ended up being a very good tackle. And I think all three of them play pretty similar. And I think there are some similar strengths and weaknesses. Kind of like, a Rashawn Slater or like an Elijah Vera Tucker. Those are some two smaller guys. Troy Fautanu is about 6'3.5", not the biggest guy, doesn't have the biggest arms, but just such a technically refined guy with great footwork, just like Rashawn Slater, and also a fantastic athlete, just like Rashawn Slater. And, Slater had those questions of, is he a guard? Is he a tackle? And in his rookie year, he was one of the 5 best tackles in the league. So
I agree. I definitely think AVT, since he was hurt this year, I'm a Jets fan, so AVT getting hurt, people are very. I think AVT is as good a guard in the league when he's healthy.
Top 10 guard
by
for
far.
sure.
Yeah, by far. I don't think he gets enough credit, but when you get hurt, people kind of forget. So I love that comp. Actually, that's a very good comp. Random. Yeah, me too. Random Colts 15.
Oh, I thought it was him.
Yeah, wait, I thought it was my pick.
It was his turn.
Oh, you didn't go down? My bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're chilling. Okay, I'm just going to take him just for the fact that he shouldn't be on the board. And there's a legit chance he might fall this far because, he is a tight end. Listen, man, the Moali Cox meme is absolutely legendary. Don't get me wrong. But unfortunately, you can't pass on a Brock Bowers. Me and Hellfire have gone back and forth on him a lot. We had different opinions, and that's what makes the draft fun. Everybody has different opinions about prospects, and that's what I personally love about sports in general. But Brock Bowers, to me, dude, just take the tight end label off his name. He's a slot receiver, man. He dominated the slot in the SEC for 3 years at Georgia. Day one, man, he stepped on the field and was the best player on that team the second he stepped on that field as an 18-year-old, dude. Like, that is how good Brock Bowers has been. In my opinion, he's the greatest college football tight end of all time. Me and Trent disagree on that, but just a phenomenal career. Guy who's won the Mackey Award twice, unanimous first-team All-American twice. There's not much to say, man. He's got it all. The route running, he catches everything. He is the best tight end after the catch I've ever seen in a draft prospect. He's ridiculously fast. He measured in a lot bigger than some people thought. Some people thought he'd be around 230. He measured in about 245, about 6'4". So good, good measurements for a guy who's definitely a bit skinnier. I just think, dude, if he gets into the right situation, he's going to Anthony Richardson. That could be. I'm not saying it's going to be Mahomes, Kelsey. I'm not saying it's going to be Brady and Gronk, but that could be a very good combo if those two work out.
I like it. All right, Random. Let's get it.
All right. So looking at the Seahawks, Mike McDaniel coming in, they did release. They did a few high profile releases with Jamal Adams is gone, but in terms of, I was looking at them going defense again, but I think it's protecting whatever, because I don't see them doing anything in the future. But the one thing that Geno Smith did do when he was protected, he was great. So I'm getting, was it Talise? Fuaga from the
Talise
tackle from Oregon
Fuaga.
State. You want to protect Geno Smith, get the best out of him as you can right now. In terms of a draft comp, I'm gonna rely on my guy over there on the left of me to come up with a draft comp. But from everything I've seen, he's been a great tackle. It doesn't hurt to protect Geno because you want to maximize the little bit of time you have left with him before you eventually go get your quarterback of the future.
Right. I guess that means I'll throw out the comp.
Yeah, throw the comp out, Donnie. Give us a comp.
I mean, a comp that really comes to mind, and this was the first thing I thought of when I first watched him. Fortunately, or unfortunately, he hasn't really worked out in the NFL that far, but this is a guy, former top 7 pick just a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. He just reminds me so much of Akeem Ekwonu, just a disgusting run blocker. Going to get down in the trenches and just mean, dude. Just mean. Going to get in your face, going to spit on you, going to kick you, going to bully you. That's basically what Akeem Ekwonu did in college. And unfortunately, he hasn't worked out. So hopefully Fuaga does have a better transition. But those are the vibes I got.
Well, it keeps the vibes going to what the Seahawks, obviously picking Mike McDaniels, you keep that defensive feel to the Seahawks. And you want to run the ball because that's what helps Geno Smith be great. So keep getting a guy like that. You saying that he's that nasty of a run blocker. It doesn't help. And the Seahawks, he'll embrace the culture that the Seahawks have.
And he does have interior versatility. Like if he plays guard, I think that'd be awesome as well.
Also, just an FYI, Jalen Johnson's got the bag from the Bears.
Yeah, I seen that $76 million.
He got underpaid so much. Oh my god!
How much he get? How much did he get?
He got 19 a year.
Oh.
Yeah, that might have been.
Low,
that might be a little low.
I thought he'd get 22 or something. He got 19.
That might be a little low. I'm not going front. Yeah, I could agree with that. That might be a little low. Friendly discount. Hellfire. Come on now, Jaguars. Let's give me
All
get
right.
one.
I have a trade going on here.
Let's get it. I love a trade. I have the Eagles trading up to 17. Ooh. Birds. Okay, your team. They traded.
Hellfire thinking nothing but trades, bro.
I like it, Hellfire. Nah, bring the madness.
Yeah, I have the Eagles trading up from 22 to 17 to select Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they do need.
That's a major position need for them.
What's this trade?
Facts. I can see that too.
You gotta select them. Yeah. Select the pick.
Oh, okay.
No, you got to select the pick.
You got to select the pick first.
I did already. I thought I did already. Okay. Hold on. I tweaked. Eagles, 22 for 17.
And then you have to force the trade. Yep.
Yeah, I thought I did that shit, dude. What the fuck? Stop playing with me. Yo, you see that? Y'all see I'm not tripping, right? Y'all see this thing over here saying force trade?
Maybe you have to offer it first, then force it.
Hold on, I'm gonna do it one more time.
You gotta keep force the trade down there.
Yeah, but no, I'm literally. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I had to scroll down. All right, bet. So now we drafting Quinyon Mitchell, Toledo. Is that the first corner off the board? Yeah, that's the first corner. Yeah, that is the fourth corner off the board. Okay. All right.
Quinyon's a freak, man.
He's definitely a freak athlete. No disrespect to any other corner here, but he's my CB1, and Philadelphia is like the perfect fit for what they're trying to fix with that secondary. I did like the Greg Newsome comp that Donnie threw out when we first started talking about Quinyon, because we were the first two that started talking about that, like, under the radar before he flew out. My ceiling for him is actually one of Greg Newsome's teammates in Cleveland and Denzel Ward.
Okay.
I like that.
Great cover corner.
And then my floor for him, this one was a little bit tricky, but floor wise, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, like he had like that small window where he was actually a solid corner.
Okay, all right, I like it.
Jesus, he had a chance to win 2 Super Bowls too.
Grant, welcome to the NFL draft, buddy. Well, now you're on the clock. Bengals. Who are the Bengals selecting at 18?
So with Cincinnati, I was gonna go with Keaton Mitchell because I felt like that was a good necessity. But with the amount, since the Eagles already got him, and I'm thinking with Cincinnati, I think on the offensive side of the ball, they're sustained very well with the talent that they have. Coming into next season, Joe Burrow's going to be there. We've got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, everybody there. On the defensive side of the ball, for me, I think there's a lot of pieces that I think that are very important that the Bengals have to improve on in order to be able to be successful. But for me, and this is going to be a crazy one, I got Terrion Arnold going to the Cincinnati Bengals because the reason why I said Terrion is, for one, this year at Alabama, he had a good season as a player. I love there's a lot of stuff that I see in him that makes me think he could do very well in the NFL. Now, as for like a ceiling or a floor, I haven't been able to really put one out for him right now. I know Donnie's probably already got one in his head, but I feel like what the things I've seen from him as a cornerback and how he's able to play the position are going to go especially well. And I think that's something that Cincinnati really needs on that defense, because if they can fix that defense, that could be one of the big pieces they need in order to make a postseason berth. But
okay, I like it. Yo, Trent, are you back at the top? You back at the top? All right, Trent, you have the Los Angeles Rams. Who are the Los Angeles Rams selecting at 19?
See, I see Cooper DeJean still on the board, which is because I think they don't go off. Of course, they don't go offense here because like this defense is. I think for the past 2 years, it's been Aaron Donald and then like who else? Shout out to what's his name, Kobe Turner. But shout
out to Jordan Fuller as well, my dog.
Yeah, right. But I think they're gonna go edge here, and me personally, I will go with Latu. So that's what I'm gonna pick here. Because I think I can't give a comment, but his combination of speed, power, pass rush back is phenomenal.
I'll say a comp real quick, and this is a guy that you guys will all know. I mean, story, play style, measurements, athleticism, it's literally bar for bar with Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips was a guy who dominated his last year of college, isn't necessarily the freakiest athlete, but just such a technical pass rusher, just has so many different moves, is good in the run game as well. And just like Jalen Phillips, Latu, unfortunately he broke his neck about 3 years ago when he was at Washington. And then, there was questions on if he would medically retire. Then he goes to UCLA. They pass his medicals. And for back-to-back years, he was the best defensive player, arguably, in college football. Like, I think this is maybe a hot take, but I think he's a top 10 player in the draft. I love Latu. I think he's such a special pass rusher. And I'm hoping those medicals were good at the combine, because if he is healthy, I think he could be an easy, like someone told me Trey Hendrickson, and I think he could be a similar player to that. Just a consistent, top 12 edge rusher.
Okay. I dig it. I like it. What about, all right, Radell, talk to me. Steelers.
20. Yo. Steelers are an interesting situation because they need a quarterback. 100% need a quarterback. But at this point, I think they're sick of the young quarterbacks. So they're probably going to sign someone, whether that's a Russell Wilson or, believe it or not, a Ryan Tannehill. They could still sign him. I'm be honest.
Stop.
Bro, stop it. Hey, man, it's the truth. It's the truth.
It's a. Then just keep Kenny Pickett and just keep Kenny Pickett. Then if you're going to do that.
Yeah, they've already talked about committing to rebuild under Pickett this year. So,
which I saw that, and I'm not gonna lie, if they do that, that's not a smart move. Because
ain't no way Mike Tomlin is making
as
these
much
moves,
as and look, I've been a guy who's
Mike Tomlin has any input on these moves that they're making. Because ain't no way.
And look, I've been a guy who's been on the good side for Kenny Pickett, but I think you're going to get to a point with the Steelers organization where they're going to be in a situation where they want to win now. And if you want to build under Pickett, you can. I just feel like you can get a talent out of the draft that's going to do better than what Kenny's done. Because how long has Kenny Pickett been as their quarterback, and what has he like? Because I just don't feel like you can go any farther with Pickett. And I know that may sound like a rough thing to say, but at this point, you might just have to accept the fact that Kenny Pickett's not that guy who you thought he was, and you're going to have to move on. I know that's going to suck for some people, but at the end of the day, it's just they have to be able to be prepared to win now,
Right.
or they're not going to win at all. And I think with Tomlin taking a hiatus, apparently supposed to take a hiatus, I feel like now they're going to be in a position where it scares me even more with Arthur Smith up there calling the plays. Or because now I feel like that's kind of like more of a worry with the Steelers offense that didn't progress as much as I felt like they should this season. But don't take my word for it. I just feel like the Steelers can't do anything with Pickett right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Kenny Pickett's not the answer. And yes, they're also talking to Russell Wilson. So I don't think they're going to draft quarterback here. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they go, hey man, maybe they go fourth, fifth round. Joe Milton, maybe. Anyway, so when it comes down to the cornerback position, that is where I'm going here to pair someone up with Joey Porter Jr. because Patrick Peterson was obviously really bad last year. So I'm going to go one of the best corners. Some people say cornerback one, the best corner in college football, and that's Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is going to the Steelers to pair up with Joey Porter Jr., making an elite DB backfield with a DB secondary on that Steelers team. And we already know that they are already great in so many avenues. And if that pass rush has those two guys behind them, it's going to get a little disgusting. I'm going to be honest. It's kind of similar to the Chiefs.
Cooper DeJean and JPJ is crazy.
It's crazy. If I had to give him comp, I was thinking, like, who should I give him comp? He's great in, like, obviously
I ain't gonna
coverage.
lie, man. Them boys together, them boys, you know, y'all already know what I said about JPJ before he came out. Y'all already know how high I was on Joey. But I'm watching Cooper because, you know me, I don't watch corners based off athleticism. I think that's the one position on the field that, bro, I don't care about the 4.2. I don't care about the 40-inch vertical. How does that technique look? Because you are at a playing corner. Listen, I played corner at the Division I level, bro. You're at a real disadvantage. And in a world where there's fucking no huddle offenses, there's motions, there is how are your eyes? Are your eyes bad? How is your technique? How do you play man coverage? How do you play zone? How do you see the field? I think that is the one position where I look at your IQ more than just your athleticism. But when you're able to combine your IQ with your athleticism, Lord have mercy, look out. Cooper DeJean, I think he does that phenomenally well between the athleticism. And I'm going to just say it right now. He's not a safety. That boy is a corner. I think it is a phenomenal thing because you could really play. I know you're not a big fan of this, but I would play field and boundary with Joey and Cooper. You know, Cooper playing in the field, getting his hands on passes. Because honestly, listen, if he get the ball in his hands, he's liable to take it to the crib. And then you just put Joey Porter on a press man island with his big ass frame. Man, I think that's a phenomenal pick for the Steelers. Good job, Radell. I gotta give you A+.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers would love if he fell this far, but it's very possible because obviously there's Terrion, there's Kenyon. Those are two cornerbacks that are vying for that top pick. And also considering Cooper obviously didn't test because of medicals, he will drop. And a team is going to get a steal. So I think the Steelers for sure. My comp, I mean, like if he reaches the ceiling, I could see a Jair Alexander type. I'm gonna be honest. He's gonna be one of those.
I'm not mad at it though. Yeah,
I was gonna say Marlon Humphrey because he can play everywhere.
Marlon Humphrey.
I'm
gonna be honest. I think all of y'all are actually selling him short. I think y'all all are selling him short with a comp. I'm gonna be honest, bro, because of how athletic he is. I think he can play 13 years in the NFL at DB. I'm looking Charles Woodson, bro. Like I'm looking Charles Woodson because at the end of the day, the reality of it with this kid Cooper is his game is going to age due to his physical abilities. Like if you needed, I think even if you needed him right now, if you needed him to play nickel right now because somebody got hurt at corner, he can go do that. If you needed him to play free safety, I don't want him in that situation because I want to keep his body a little bit fresher. I'd rather have him on the perimeter, but he can do that as well.
I'd rather him be a box safety if he's going to be anywhere towards the safety position box.
Yeah. You see a Hall of Fame level player, J. Rob. I mean, he got to do some things, but I'm talking about the versatility that he's going to bring I mean, yeah, I think it's that level of versatility. Maybe even like a bigger, more athletic Tyrann Mathieu as a DB. I mean, there's a lot of athleticism. I mean, Charles Woodson might be too high of a ceiling, but definitely Tyrann Mathieu could be somebody I could say right now as well. I mean, the tools are there. I mean, you got all the tools. Donnie, you got this next pick though. But before we do that,
real quick, I want to break down DeJean just a little more because, well, listen, I didn't play college football. I think that's kind of obvious looking at me. But what I can say is I've grown up an Iowa fan. I've been an Iowa fan for years. I know DeJean well, man. DeJean is I know there's the whole he's a white boy. He has to play safety.
He got to represent.
He
got to represent. He's bringing it back.
Corner back.
He's doing it for Team White, man. He's doing it for the white.
He's doing it for the Jason Sehorns of the world.
He's bringing it back. Not keeping a buck.
I mean, it ain't like
help is on the way.
The athleticism he does have, I'm going to deep dive into a little bit more. The athleticism he does have is truly insane. I don't know if anyone here has seen his basketball highlights.
I have.
This dude in high school was doing in between the leg dunks as a junior in high school.
Facts.
He was and I know his backstory. He was a 4-sport athlete. He played football, track, baseball, basketball. In track, remember, there's dudes who train their whole life and do all this stuff for track. He was it's just another sport. One stayed in the 200-meter dash, got 24 feet in the long jump. I mean, just stupid.
Nah, freak athlete.
This guy has to work, J-Rob. He has to work.
I think
that's a whole new generation that can inspire for real.
I definitely want to say, to Donnie's point as well. I think he's just he's just hitting on the nose. He's a freak athlete, and to be honest, of the DBs that are in this draft, I'll admit I think he's the safest one. Because I think no matter what, you can find a place on him in your secondary. I think even if he doesn't have all the tools to play corner at elite level, I think he can play any other of the defensive back positions in the league. And also, you got to also remember, he could also be your punt returner.
Yep,
and your kick returner.
And a gunner too.
So he has value. So shit, if we gonna go to the floor, Matthew Slater. The absolute worst. Let's say he busts as a DB, Matthew Slater. That's the worst it could be because he'll be a phenomenal special teams player. So, ceiling, I think Charles Woodson, Tyrann. But Donnie, give us your next pick. You got the. Well, actually, let me do this first. For the first 20 picks, for those who are just showing up, the first 20 picks so far have been Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May for a trade via New England and the Giants. Marvin Harrison, Romo Dunze, Joe Alt, Malik Neighbors, Dallas Turner, Olu, Keon Coleman, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Byron Murphy, Tro Fatanu, Brock Bowers, Talise Fuaga, Quinion Mitchell, Terrion Arnold, Latu, and finally Cooper DeJean. Who are the Dolphins taking at 21? Help us out, Donnie. Who do we got here?
Okay, so this is the one thing I want to say about Miami.
Blame Hellfire. Blame Hellfire, Lonnie. Blame Hellfire.
Imagine we get the draft.
I didn't have the
He's had 3 chances.
I traded the third pick. That was all me. I traded.
That was Donnie.
Donnie traded. You're gonna have to
listen.
Let's still blame Hellfire too.
Listen.
3 times.
You're getting a first-round pick next year. You'll have 2 in 2025. It's gonna be okay.
Nah, Shador
is going to be. Help is on the way.
Help is on the way. As a Cardinal fan who knows what it's like to suck for a year and then have 2 first-round picks the next year, it helps, man. It helps.
He said, help is on the way. Who do we got, Donnie? Dolphins.
Back to Miami. I mean, dude, this offensive line is just absolutely atrocious. I don't know if you guys know this. They're losing all 3 starters in the interior to free agency. Every single one of their starters last year in the interior is hitting free agency. To me, I think addressing the interior is going to be a bit harder because obviously you have Teron Armstead. He's a fantastic tackle. He's up there in age, but when healthy, he's still at least one of the 15 best tackles in the league, I can say for sure. You have Austin Jackson, who did have a nice little resurgence year this year. He had a nice year, finally hit that breakout year, and he got a nice contract. So I think you have to focus on the interior, man. And to me, A lot of people have been saying he's the best center prospect we've seen in a while. I don't know about that, but I still think he's a fantastic center prospect.
Yeah, he
Jackson,
ain't no Creed Humphreys, bro. He's not
he
no
ain't
Creed
Humphrey. He's not Tyler Linderbaum, but
Yeah,
he's
he's
still a
not.
hell of a center, man. Jackson Powers Johnson is absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, just
Yeah.
such clean tape. Just like I said this, like the first thing I wrote down when I was watching him was he just doesn't make mistakes. Like he just doesn't make mistakes. He's not going up against the best competition, but like he dominated whoever he was going against. He's got it all, man. He's a bigger guy. He has versatility to play guard. He's a freak athlete. He was great at the Senior Bowl. Great on tape this year. I mean, there's not much more else you could want. Maybe he doesn't have that high ceiling like a Creed Humphrey or a Tyler Linderbaum, but day one, he's a top 10 center in the league, and I think Miami would take that in a heartbeat.
I like it. No, I think so too. Random. What do we got here, man? The Jaguars, 22, traded down with Philadelphia. What are they doing here? They thought they might have traded down to get Cooper DeJean. It doesn't work out. He got picked at 20. What do they do?
The Jags should have traded up before Miami because I think they're punching themselves because they also need. I think they need help interior. They also need interior help. Ironically, you said what?
I said Luke Fortner is bad. He's their starting center, and he is bad.
So they should have traded up again to get in front of Miami, and they need help ironically on both sides of the line. Jesus, because I'm looking at the prospects here. I think maybe they go for some versatility here. They go get Troy Fautanu from Washington, the guard tackle from Washington.
He got picked already.
You got picked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, crap. You could go Zach Frazier.
There's some good tackles left.
JC Latham.
I'll say JC. I'll probably say or Marius.
I don't know if this helps, but Graham Barton is a guy who can play center and guard and tackle. Like he can play all three.
If I'm the Jags, I'm going for versatility here. You need everything you can to maximize Trevor Lawrence because Jesus Christ, man, we're asking a lot of questions on press box about Trevor.
I know I said I got the Ravens. Can I pick for the Texans? You feel me? Can I pick for the Texans here? I'm gonna take.
Go ahead, DiBiase.
Go for it.
I'm gonna take this one. I think here, honestly, I look at a situation where I feel like the Houston Texans. I think you go the Jamar Chase route. I mean, not the Jamar Chase, the Joe Burrow route, and I think you give your franchise quarterback another weapon. Like, why not? I mean, this kid's learning curve has already shown to be ahead of most kids at this age. I think when you have football players, I feel like when you have football players who can really disguise maybe some bad offensive line help or whatever you need, I think you can spoil a player like this. So when I look at CJ Stroud here, I want to go wide receiver. To be honest though, I think you gotta go Brian Thomas Jr. right here. I mean, I want to go AD Mitchell. I said AD Mitchell is my wide. Actually, I'm gonna go AD because I'm gonna go with my pick. I know Brian Thompson Jr.'s upside is huge, but I think AD Mitchell to me. I mean, I love AD, man. I think AD has so much talent. I really wish AD wouldn't have transferred to Georgia. He should have transferred to Ohio State. He would have been wide receiver 2 along with Marvin if he would have came to Ohio State and went instead of going to Texas. I think AD's ceiling, I mean, for his size, about 6'2", 6'3". I mean, he got really good body control, big ass frame, and he's fast as shit. I really do like his route running too for his size and his weight. I mean, he's not a light guy. Like he's not. His build kind of reminds me of Anquan Bolden a little bit. I think his route running though and like his body control gives me more D-Hop, but I do also see Anquan Bolden when I look at him as well. But I do like his speed, his fluidity, I think is a little bit better than both of those guys, compared to at least where they were at. So I'm gonna go AD Mitchell. Why not? Give him another big target. You got 2 really big wide receivers alongside Tank Dell, who I think if you add AD, you could really move Tank Dell in so many more places. I think it'll be even better for Tank because he'll be in a lot more favorable matchups. And so I think AD gives another counterpunch to I think already loaded Houston Texans offense. So I'm gonna go AD Mitchell here. I'm gonna just go with my bias.
Can I ask one quick question? For
I'm not mad at
forget
AD.
dude on the left of me real quick. Sorry, forget what's your name again? Donnie. Sorry, I'm terrible with
No,
names.
you're chilling.
I know because Lonnie mentioned it too. I was thinking about going secondary for the Jags, but the guy that I was looking at was Kool-Aid, but then they found that foot fracture during the combine. How bad did that hurt his draft stock?
Not really. I mean, he'll be good by pro day. I think he'll test at his pro day. Everything will be okay. I think it didn't sound like a big deal, but I think it'll be okay.
Okay. That's one reason why because I thought maybe a team could be scared.
Which is valid. Like teams will get concerned, so that's valid.
Yeah, you got the Cowboys. You got the Cowboys. Go ahead.
This is probably the easiest pick for me. Go to receiver real quick.
You say you couldn't leave AD for Dallas, Jerry? Yo, I think AD's the sleeper, bro. I think AD Mitchell's the sleeper. I think people are really sleep.
What's the name? Yeah, I think they go. Then they go Brian Thomas here, even though what's the name? They need another obviously for the supposedly the top 5 quarterback. Michael Parsons' brother Terrence said.
Brother Terrence.
Yeah, shout out Terrence. But yeah, I think Brian Thomas be the perfect number 2 for CD, bro, because you can use CD all over the place. But man, you know how crazy Brian Thomas is a deep threat. That'll be phenomenal for the Cowboys. And that'll probably be even way better for Dak Prescott. No doubt.
Yeah, Brian Thomas is a freak show too. I'm not gonna lie. Lord have mercy. I ain't gonna lie. This wide receiver draft is like almost
the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think. Lord, I'll be honest. Like with these wide receivers, like I picked AD Mitchell, but I damn near felt bad about it because I know how good Brian Thomas is. I know this is as loaded a wide receiver draft I think if I've ever seen. I can't think of one. I can't think of one with this many guys, yo. Fact. And God forbid the guy that we missed that goes 3rd round that pops in on everybody pulls a Puka. So you know it's not because I mean Tank Dell and Puka. Yeah, Tank Dell and Puka were phenomenal, and they weren't 1st round draft picks.
Another good name.
No, yeah, so I think it'll get crazy.
Trent brought me in on Tank Dell, but I felt like Puka was going to be something because when I saw his film at BYU, because somebody told me to watch him play, and I didn't really know.
He went to UW first, actually.
He did, and then he was at BYU. And from what I saw, I thought he could be a great talent, but I just think Puka overexceeded this year, and I think that's a lot. I think he's going to be an amazing receiver in the future.
I rock with Puka. Puka's nice. Puka's dumb nice. All right, you got these young, feisty Green Bay Packers, Radell, the young and feisty Packers, man. What do we got for them? Where are they going in the draft, man?
Surprisingly, this is a pretty easy pick. Because Jair Alexander is not returning to the team. So they need to go corner. And there's another really good corner still on the board, and that's Nate Wiggins. So for sure the Packers are going to kind of replace him, which they need to. Nate Wiggins actually did amazing in the combine. Like I think he ran the fastest 40. Was it 4.28?
4.29, I think. 4.29.
4.29. Like he's extremely athletic and he has pretty good size. He's around 6'2". Had a pretty good year, all things considered. So the Packers, it's very easy. If it's Cooper, if it's Kenyon, if it's Terrion, if it's Nate, they're replacing Jair and drafting a corner at this position.
I like it. Donnie. Donnie, you want to swap picks with
yeah, I was about to say, can I pick for my team?
I got you. Random, take the Buccaneers so Donnie can take the Cardinals.
Okay. That's tough, Donnie. I'm sorry.
I respect Donnie. No.
I apologize that he has to go
open Jets fan.
The Cardinals said.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. No, I get it. As an open Jets fan, I understand Donnie's plight, man. I understand this shit. This shit is not easy every week, every season. This shit is not easy, bro.
Well, it's because pick 4 is so predictable. Like it's just probably going to be Marvin. So
yeah, right. Nah, facts. Go ahead. Random. Who the Buccaneers taking here at? I feel like. Go ahead. Yeah, for Baker.
I think when you're looking at the Bucs, they're very like they're a good team. But just because they're a good team, that doesn't mean they can't get help anywhere. I was looking maybe getting some D lineman depth or maybe a tackle. Oh Jesus,
it's my new team.
Yeah, that's Trent's team. Come on.
Oh, yeah, this the squad now. This the squad now.
Okay, so I assume because they haven't paid Baker Mayfield yet, but they are going to pay him.
Yeah,
I'm taking JC Latham. JC Latham as the tackle.
JC Latham. Yeah, I was going to say I feel like they have no choice but to go best available offensive lineman.
Obviously, you got Tristan Wirfs, arguably the best tackle in the league on protecting the backside, and then you got JC Latham on the other side.
They just need help. Yeah.
Like
That is one disgusting duo.
I was thinking they would go edge rusher with Jared Verse, to be
They
honest.
could.
But I'm not
Nah,
even
they're-
mad at Jason Littleton.
Nah, their O-line needs help. It need more than just some duct tape, man. All right, let's go. Hellfire.
there's a lot of
I'm
DBs in
tripping.
free
My
agency.
bad. Donnie. Sorry, Donnie.
You're chilling. All right,
Donnie, let's go.
Arizona.
What do you
Yes.
got?
Get your team, Donnie.
Yeah, okay, so this team is really bad. So we're gonna need to get some.
I mean, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. now.
I
We do
mean,
got
he's
Marvin,
not
yeah.
That
wrong.
doesn't
Yeah, you
help.
got Marvin though. You got Marvin
got
now.
Mar-
You crazy?
Hey, y'all
Listen,
getting
we got
highlights now. Hey, Jalen
Listen,
gonna
we
start
got
watching your
Marvin-
highlights.
We got Marvin. We're winning the Super Bowl. It's all good. Nah, for real though. I mean, this could go so many directions, man. I mean, the defense needs so much work. This was arguably the worst defensive line in football last year. Fun fact: when Kyler came back against Atlanta, from the moment they got him back to the end of the season, they had 1 sack.
Wow.
1. And the 1 sack was when a quarterback ran out of bounds.
Jesus.
That was the
That's
1
hilarious.
sack they got all season. Yeah, not very good. So
Who is
you
that?
could go
Who's
version
that echo?
and
who's that
I
echo?
do. Yeah, who's echoing?
Hellfire might be your phone. It might be your son. Maybe meet you right with Hellfire.
Go ahead, Donnie.
All right, so I mean, once again, this could be either Newton or Verse. You could go either way. I do think interior defensive line is a bigger need, though. I think Johnny Newton's getting criminally underrated right now. I'll take Jazon Newton. He wants to be called Johnny, so I'll keep calling him Johnny. But I mean, like, listen, he may not be the biggest guy, he may not be this freakiest athlete, but like, dude, just such a clean pass rusher, dude. Like this dude
Right.
just. Like I don't know if any of you guys are big tape watchers. If you want the full Johnny Newton experience on how good he is, go turn on Penn State because this dude just
Oh yeah, Penn
was
State.
not
I
stopped.
saw that film.
Like in one game, the D tackle 10 pressures and a sack and a tackle for loss. That's hard to do, man. This guy is such a special pass rusher. Excuse me. He's improved as a run defender. Once again, not the biggest guy, not the most athletic, but just such a refined pass rusher. He gave me big Fletcher Cox vibes. And Fletcher Cox was one of the best defensive tackles in the league for a very long time. So I love Johnny. They need interior D linemen. We're winning the Super Bowl.
We're winning the Super Bowl. I love it. Hellfire. Who do you have at? You got to unmute yourself, Hellfire. You got the Bills.
Alrighty. So this is a rather interesting pick as far as the direction of where they could go, but they did just make some pretty big time cuts to their defensive side of the ball. Go corner. I want to see who the corners are left.
Filter by position.
I think
Yeah, they got a Kool-Aid. Yeah, you got Kool-Aid. You got there's some guys here.
Kamari.
He need a receiver.
Yeah, outside of Kool-Aid, I don't think there's another corner I'm going for.
Yeah, they need a wide receiver badly.
Get him Gabe Davis 2.0.
You chill out.
Man,
that's
chill.
disgusting.
Chill
Cam Coleman's on the
out.
board, isn't he?
Adrian
Oh, is Cam Coleman taken? Oh,
Yeah,
he
he went top
is.
10, Donnie.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he went to the Jets.
Yeah, he went 10.
Yeah, we
Give
reached.
Josh Allen Latin McConkey.
But yeah, that's a really good pick.
I like
It's
it.
actually not bad. I'm not gonna fake it.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
Does Stephon play in the slot a
So
lot? I feel like he
he's,
does.
so
He
he's
played-
already.
He did, but he don't have to play it now if you got.
I think Glad
Yeah.
McConkey. You know what? I think Glad can play outside. You have Khalil Shakir,
Yeah,
who's also a bit of a slot
he-
guy. Go ahead, Falfire. Go
He's
ahead.
already got Garrett Wilson comps just based off the measurements at the combine and
Yeah.
how he tested. And his route running is severely undersold.
Garrett Wilson. Stop.
Garrett Wilson is crazy, but
They
Yeah,
were
he's
talking
not
Garrett
Garrett
Wilson.
Wilson, but he's
Garrett
listen. Listen. You know he's the
No.
white version, so
Nah,
obviously.
hell no.
Hell
No, Donnie.
I'm
No,
gonna tell you this. The only reason I can't get behind the Garrett Wilson thing is not about the speed or the hands. Y'all understand that Garrett Wilson is like John Morant playing wide receiver, the way he jump over shit to get the ball.
Oh,
He
yeah.
taps the ball in the air. Like that shit is uncoachable. The way he does, the way he tracks the ball out of the air, bro. I think is
and that wasn't
Bro,
even
he
going
the
to be.
Jeff Hardy,
My
he the
comp
Jeff
was-
Hardy
my
of the
comp-
NFL. you
My
know.
comp for Wide McConkey was Deontay
Small.
Johnson. That's who he reminds me
I
of.
like that. I like that better. Yeah, I like Deontay Johnson better because to me, when you look at Garrett's athleticism with the ball in the air, I just think it's a little different. I think
I
that's
agree with that. I
Deontay
agree
has
with that.
some bad drops. I'll be honest.
it's a little special. It's a little special. I think
He
it's a little
does.
different.
I don't think Ladd drops the ball that much, but Ladd also didn't really ever produce like crazy
Yeah,
in college.
right.
No, he's flown because of his abilities, not like.
Oh
because
yeah,
of
no,
production.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I know.
I mean,
absolutely.
he'll still be a number 2 option, which will be good for him. He won't.
Yo,
have-
Grant, you got these Detroit Lions, man. What are you gonna do to make the Lions better, man? You gonna get Cam Sutton out of that uniform or what?
How was Jared
This
Verse
is
on the
tough
board?
to
J-Rob, real
me.
quick, can I use my double champ power to get the Niners pick?
Yeah, you can use your double champ. You could definitely
Yeah.
use a double champ.
Gotta get the Niners pick.
Double.
He's gonna take Patrick Paul.
I'm about to
I'm
say
already
double
knowing
champ,
it.
Never mind. But this is tough for me because I've been thinking about it for a little bit, and I've been doing some research real quick, and I'm stuck between two guys. Now, on one hand, I could go. The two guys is I'm thinking about either a cornerback or a defensive end or an edge rusher. I like Jared Verse an awful lot as a player. What I saw him, I've watched a lot of his Florida State film this past season. What he was able to do, he's 6'4". He's extremely fast. He's got a lot of speed. He's able to be he does good at getting pressure. Then I was thinking about from the corners. I just want to see real quick. Can you show how many corners we have left? Because I'm trying to see.
Kool-Aid's still here. Kool-Aid's still here.
Kool-Aid is still
You know-
here. Okay.
I don't think
Kool-Aid's still here.
it'd be possible that the Lions trade for Snead and this shit, and it's like this.
Oh,
this-
I've heard those rumors.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
heard
think
those
I ain't gonna
rumors.
lie. I think LeJarius is going to the Eagles, though. I'm not going front.
You think so?
I think he's
Yeah.
very-
Yes.
Well, there's also been rumors that he's going for a second, which I think is a little crazy. But
Yeah,
But
it's
you know what? For the sake of me being subtle, I feel like I'm gonna go with my gut and go with Kool-Aid because I think Kool-Aid. I think he is what they need on the Lions right now, especially with a defense that some would say was subpar, but I think it's a lot better if they get more pieces in on that defense, especially on the protection and especially on the edge rushing side. But I feel like you could say either or, but I feel like Kool-Aid is a better fit for what the Lions need right now. But
So I like it. I like Kool-Aid. I think Kool-Aid's the right pick. I think the Lions, no matter what, have to get a corner. Like I can't watch Kim Sutton out there at corner for them no more. And that's just because I like the Lions.
and it's
I
not
like
like
Lions.
and that was my
It's not even
reasoning.
no disrespectful. I think he's probably a great human being. Shout out to him. He's playing in the NFL, but I truly think he's a starting cornerback in the league. I think he's more of a probably like nickel dime guy. You put him in packages, special teams, but to have him on islands and shit, I can't see that no more for the Lions.
That's why I've said Kool-Aid because I think I think it's just as much as I love Sutton as a person, I can't do it no more.
No, and I agree. And the thing is, I think the secondary for the Lions is actually they found Ifitu Melifonwu, dog. Brian Branch, dog. Those are dogs out there. So they added CJ Gardner. They got some dogs now. I just think they found them if they could find them a take away the side of the field corner. I think the Lions are cooking in their secondary actually with what the.
if Kool-Aid was on that team last year, I'm
it would be
convinced.
better.
I'm convinced they may have beaten the Niners because their secondary killed them. Like
it's the fact that I always call. Can you you play pickup basketball? Me and my homies, you play get the switch. You pick on the weakest guy on the field, and I think Cam Sutton a lot of times for a lot of teams. That's the matchup they're putting their best receiver on because they like it every time. I mean, the film speaks for itself. But here with the Ravens, I gotta do the Baltimore Ravens. Let's get it. So honestly, I think this pick is easy. If this was maybe 2-3 months ago, the pick would be Troy Franklin because speed kills. But then I realized I watched the guy run so fast, I thought he was gonna fly off the screen. And it's either you take him now or you watch Patrick Mahomes. You take him now. You take him now, or you watch.
Jared Verse.
Yes.
Over Xavier Leggett?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
just, wait.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
this ain't
Yes.
wrong.
I'm
No.
going for it.
Ain't no
We're
way
going
Jared Verse
forward.
gonna fall out of the first.
We're
like that.
going forward.
man.
We're going for it, y'all.
No.
The Ravens are probably going to re-sign Clowney. I think they could use a Jared Verse. Jared Verse, I think you are phenomenal. But 4.2 speed, they're losing. They're losing OBJ. I know I probably could go Xavier Leggett. I could go a lot of different routes.
No.
I go Troy Franklin. But you can't teach 4.21 speed, y'all.
Oh my.
And we all watched the guy who was supposed to be a gadget player in Tyreek Hill blossom into one of the league's best wide receivers in defense. Why can't Xavier Worthy do the same thing? Why can't Xavier Worthy do this?
Take Jared Verse. They're losing Chase Young.
I don't care. I'm not.
Oh my god! No way Verse is about to fall out of the first.
He's about to fall out of the first round.
Yo, I want you to know. I ain't gonna lie, Donnie. I want you to know the reason why Verse fell out of the first round is your fault, bro.
How is it my fault?
It's the Giants pick. I'm telling you, that shit broke the draft a little bit. I'm telling you, it shook the room. It shook the room. It shook the room. It shook the room.
But now I don't think even if Jared Verse, I still don't even think they will go edge. But I think they need an offensive lineman. Oh, with that being said, I'm taking Amarius Mims. What the fuck?
Amarius is still available, bro.
See,
he shouldn't be.
I'm not gonna lie. Even though he shouldn't be. Oh my god. Do I take my
Trent, don't do it. Don't do it, Trent.
Niggas player choice. I'm doing it. Take my guy, Patrick Paul. Take him.
Patrick Paul. Oh.
Take him. Take him.
Oh,
I don't know.
Take him.
Yo, listen, y'all. Listen, all I'm gonna say is this. One thing I've learned about the draft, y'all, is you gonna take guys in spots that you didn't know was this good. Like, listen, Jermaine Johnson. I think the Jets got great value on Jermaine. Great value on Jermaine Johnson, where we took him in his draft class. You just never know. You can't fall in love with too many draft grades. Come on, Donnie. You know you done got some guys that's not always in the first 50.
Yes, you're right.
Come on, you know there's some guys don't crack that top 50 picks, but they start.
I think Radell now got the easiest pick now for receiver.
Oh, wow.
Radell was going to take Xavier Worthy. He's doomed. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
Nah.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got the 32nd pick with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I made a statement that went on the Players' Choice TikTok. Make sure you guys follow PC Football. And I had a take saying, yo, Troy Franklin's going to the Kansas City Chiefs. And there were some things that I had issues. I was like, oh, he could be a better version of MVS. Then I was watching him on the combine, and I was very disappointed. I'm like, bro, this guy can't do anything other than run a vertical. Yeah, that's what the Chiefs need. But then there's another receiver at the combine that just looked like a dog. Just looked like one of the best receivers at the combine. And that man is Xavier Leggett. Xavier Leggett is going to the Kansas City Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, and he is someone that can be special. I saw, yes, people say some drop issues, but hey, man, that can get cleaned up a little bit. It can be cleaned up. Yo, his floor, this is his floor. His floor is Deebo Samuel. That is the floor of Xavier Leggett. His ceiling is AJ Brown. Hey, man.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Xavier Leggett is going to
AJ Brown is his ceiling
on the Chiefs. Hey.
Wow.
His yak is going to be amazing. He is a beast.
I will say, though, bro, this mock draft, we probably got a smooth D-. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, did they grade us for this? Where's the grade at?
Nah, they took the grade out for some reason.
You can check if you do like
if you do like a team draft, you can check like specifically. Like,
okay,
what would be the grade if like the Vikings took JJ McCarthy? Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly,
I
already know the draft
is crazy.
I think where we got funky is where I think people are gonna be like, yeah, this shit is crazy. It's 10.
Yeah.
Keon
12, JJ Michael Penix Jr. That looks crazy a little bit, but I mean, also I will say though, Keon, I mean, it's not impossible though. Depending on how you look at this draft with these wide receivers, I mean, I think a lot of these players, I think we all agree, a lot of these players in certain draft classes are, I mean, Drake May would probably be wide receiver 1 in another class. Rome would be wide receiver 1 in another class. I mean, I think there's a lot of potential here, so. You know, Any reactions to the draft that y'all want to? Let me put us back in the other joint. Any
Trent, what's your attachment to Paul?
Oh, that's my
He
teammate.
went to Houston.
Yes, he went to Houston.
Teammate? Oh, okay.
He's my teammate. And dead ass, like, I know he has some issues. I know, like, what's the name? He blocks sometimes too wide, and you do that shit in the NFL with your ass pancake. But I think that's shit you can learn on, and you can't teach 6'7", 330 moving like a guard. You can't teach that. And I think Patrick Paul can be. I think he's the most underrated tackle in this draft, bro. Like, Houston's producing a lot of underrated people. Like, Tank was underrated. Like, bro, like, I think whoever gets Patrick Paul is gonna do wonders for that team. I ain't gonna lie.
Right. No,
Shit, even the Jets, shit. New York, you can go to New York, you can go hella places, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jets, we need some offensive line help for sure. We need some offensive line help for sure. But there's a story out right now that there has been a mutual interest between the Steelers and Russell Wilson. We talked about it yesterday on the press box, but now that everybody's up here, Grant, you actually spoke about it first, so I'll let you start this conversation. Do you think Russell Wilson can come and revitalize his career in Pittsburgh? And do you think they can actually be a AFC contender during his tenure there if he does end up going there?
AFC contender, I'm not gonna go that far, but I feel like if they need something to replace what they have on that offense, especially with because I said it earlier with Kenny Pickett, I can't really go with him anymore. I feel like you're gonna get to a point with him where it's just like enough is enough. Even though they did have the problems with him earlier, and then you brought in Mitchell Trubisky, I just think they need a solid, experienced quarterback in that system. The only worry that I really have is with Arthur Smith coming in and being the OC. Because after seeing what happened with Atlanta, and I know it's different positions and it's different roles, it's basically going from Matt Canada to Arthur Smith. It's like that one meme you see of that dude with that shirt, and then he has a present, and it's like the same exact shirt in the box. That's what this situation is for me. Right. And that's kind of the thing that scares me. But I think Russ going to the Steelers, I think it's better because I think they have some worth of talent that can get him moving. But do I feel like that can put him in the AFC contendership spot? Not yet, because I feel like we have to still understand that the Ravens and the Bengals are still in that division. And so I think next year, with what I think they're going to get out of the draft, they're going to be very, very dangerous coming into the season. And then I feel like the problem is with Mike Tomlin. If Mike Tomlin is going to have if Mike Tomlin is going to not be on the team anymore, or depending on where the future goes with that, with a new coach system, I just feel like there's a lot of questions that are still needed to be answered with Pittsburgh right now. That's only my biggest thing. But I feel like I can't say they are going to be the AFC contender, because I just feel like there's so many questions that we've had with that team this year, with just injuries and also just the reliance on positions of what that team needs. So you could say, if you want to say they're AFC contenders, that's fine. I just think that's a little too much for me, because I don't want to put them in that conversation yet, because like I said, we have to look at the other teams in the conference. Like, we saw Kansas City get to the AFC to the Super Bowl and win it with with his worst weapons he's had it forever. So it's out there in the air, but I can't say like AFC contender. That's just for me.
Okay.
I think it's set up. The hierarchy set up the way the quarterback rankings are kind of set up. Like, I think the Chiefs are the top team, obviously. Then you have, the Bills are going through a lot of upheaval right now, but let's see how they shake out. You have the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, hopefully the Chargers, if that soup works out together. And then the Steelers, to me, with Russell Wilson at best, feel like a 7-6 seed to me. Like, I still don't think that AFC contender should not be in their vocabulary at all right now. They still have some things to do. If I'm Russell Wilson, I'm not trying to stay in the AFC unless that's like my last choice. But I like what he brings. I think what Sean Payton did to him, and J-Rob, you've spoken a few times about how teams treat players. What Sean Payton did to him, despite how he was able to play, was damn near criminal. And ironically, they also showed Dallas, Jerry Jones, what he could do to Dak if they want to follow that same blueprint. But we don't need to get into that because Terrence not here, thank God. I think he brings a lot of maturity to that locker room, especially with the receivers. I just think he does. They need something like that. It works, but it's not pushing them where they ultimately want to go. But it's something that could hold them over for a while.
Right. I like it. I mean, personally, for me, because I'm about to slide, Radell going to handle the rest of the show. All I'm gonna say on this situation is, I really like Russ, man, as a player. I think he has some good football left to play. I think he did. I think he showed some flashes, honestly, when he was with the Broncos. I mean, they were right in the thick of it. I think they were finally starting to find their rhythm. I'm never going to be mad at a player for not trying to set a precedent by like waiving his injury clause. I thought that was ridiculous. And I think if you start doing that, you do set a nasty precedent for other players to do that. And I don't think that should be the case. However, unfortunately, that shit ain't doing nothing for the Steelers in terms of championships and winning trophies and stuff like that. That's just the reality of it. Y'all know how I feel about certain things. If you're not making a move that you feel like is a legitimate title pushing move, I don't always understand what's the point of doing it unless you have like a bigger option. Unless the goal is to have a stopgap and then get your franchise guy the year after. But I'm sorry, like. My whole issue is you're adding Russ is still going to be in the AFC, man. You're still going to have to deal with the Joe Burrows, the Herberts, the Pat Mahomes, the Josh Allens. Aaron Rodgers is back. I mean, it's so. CJ Stroud has arrived, and again, I think the mystery team to me is the Indianapolis Colts because, again, if AR-15 next season is 90% of his potential, 90% of his potential. Lord have mercy, NFL, look out. You have a problem on your hands. So I just feel like ultimately Russ is doing this. It'll be good for his career. Hopefully compete in some meaningful playoff games, but I don't think the Steelers are a contender now because of it. Bye, fellas. I appreciate y'all. Radell, you close them out. I'll see y'all boys later. Gotta go.
I got you.
Well, they need to have the Steelers need to have an honest conversation with themselves, right? About what they truly are.
Well, my thing with the Steelers, right? I already said it before. The Russell Wilson joins this team, they ain't going nowhere. People really try to make an argument. Oh, they can go to the AFC Championship. Y'all try to do that. That was nasty. That was disgusting. No, it happened on Press Box when I brought up the Tannehills. Y'all, Russ can at least go to the AFC Championship. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to hear any of that. Russell Wilson going to the Steelers. I mean, I changed my tune in terms of its possibility now. And there's two reasons why. First, the Steelers don't have to pay anything to put Russell Wilson on the team. So that's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, at that point, you don't have to put any money to him because all that money is getting paid by the Broncos. That's kind of an easy kind of no-brainer right there. And the second thing is people are way too high on JJ McCarthy, and he's going way earlier than I ever expected. Because I'm like, bro, the Vikings might draft him or the Vikings might move up to draft him. Like it's kind of crazy. I didn't think that was going to happen. So now the Steelers are like, by the time it's our turn, JJ's going to be gone. I mean, they could still get Penix. I mean, they could. I think Penix is still a good quarterback. Bo Nix is like a transition, like a lateral move, I'm going to be honest. I mean, you can go so much with Bo Nix. So at this point, it's like, let's just keep on doing what we're doing. And then next year, hopefully.
Can I ask you something, bro? Why are you cool with Penix going top 12 and not JJ McCarthy?
That's a good question.
Penix is better than McCarthy, bro.
How far? How much?
As a prospect, I disagree.
As a prospect, I don't know.
Sure, like
because my point is neither of them are first round talents. So if you have an issue with one of them going first round and the other one don't, I don't mind Penix falling out of the first round. Like I don't mind at all. I do think that if you're the Broncos and you want to start winning at this point, I don't even know if they want to start winning. They're getting rid of a lot of people. So I don't know what they're trying to do with Sean Payton, but Sean Payton can work with quarterbacks and he can work with accurate quarterbacks. And that guy is Penix right there. Put him on your team.
I'm looking at him.
I'm not saying he's not accurate. Penix more accurate.
I don't know what
deep ball accuracy. Give you that, but everything else basically goes to JJ.
I mean, I'm not going to give the sack avoidance thing to JJ. I'm not.
You're not getting.
No, I'm not giving sack avoidance to him when Penix Jr. is doing essentially Justin Herbert like shit with sack avoidance, and that could translate.
It's all the feet. It's all the feet. Come on.
When did he do that? When did he do that?
This entire time in Washington, he was the best quarterback in the class, according to things that get tracked in sack avoidance.
That's cap.
No, it's not.
Imagine Justin Herbert had Roma Dunzy,
I sent the tweet to your
Jalen
Telegram.
McMillan, and Jalen Polk. Wouldn't that be helpful?
Like, I sent that to your Telegram.
Hey, man.
And that takes into account
W run game.
That takes into account a lot more than what you think. Like, that is a Justin Herbert-esque attribute. Having elite sack avoidance. I'm sorry. When I think of sack avoidance, I think of Herbert. I don't think of anybody else in the league.
I mean, Penix does have good movement in the like he can't run, but he does have good movement in the pocket, knowing his limitations at the very least. So Broncos,
you got to be able to create that sort of structure in today's NFL, man. You have to. If you want to survive,
you also got to be able to be elite in structure, elite defenses, be able to be
you
elite.
have to.
Yeah, you have to.
All the top
NFL.
quarterbacks create off structure.
If you cannot create outside of structure in today's NFL, you will not.
I think the majority of the quarterbacks can. I also don't think
he was this
year.
All of the good quarterbacks can create out of structure.
You consider Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff a good quarterback.
Jalen Hurts. What the fuck?
Jared Goff. You know who said Jared Goff? Because you're right, he's not good at it, which is why Jared Goff's lows are low.
But Jared Goff was also
Jared Goff's lows are low. Because when Jared Goff is under pressure, he was terrible. But he has the best offensive line in football, so he doesn't get pressured that often.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously know what to do. If you put Penix on your team, you're gonna have to really build that offensive line and then let him work. And if you let him work, then I trust Penix for sure. Obviously, there's things that he needs to get better at transitioning to the NFL and working with that intermediate and short game. But Penix is like that.
Bro. If you have an issue with JJ going top 12 or just going first round period, it should be the same thing for both.
JJ's all potential, bro. Potential. I'm like, all right,
the NFL draft is.
Can I? Hey,
Top right slams that. Top right slams that trend.
I have been saying this for years. You don't draft someone on what they are. You
draft
them on what you think they can be. That's what the draft is about.
It's always what the draft is about. That's always.
Who was the best receiver in college football last year? Malik Neighbors. Who's going to be the best NFL receiver? Marvin Harrison Jr.
Bro, it's the reason why Anthony went top 5. That's the only. That is literally the only reason Anthony Richardson went top 5. If you look at
when you watched him play,
him play. That tape is
he flashed insanely.
That's why JJ is similar to me when it comes to AR. Whereas AR went to the perfect situation and perfect coach with Shane Steichen running that RPO system with AR. It was a match made in heaven. So the thing for JJ, for me,
it was the only way AR was going to be able to succeed. He's not wrong. It was the only way Anthony Richardson was going to be able to succeed in this league.
JJ's also one of the only quarterbacks who's playing a pro-style offense.
But like Hellfire, here's my question: what's wrong with going to the perfect situation for you? Doesn't that just maximize your potential to become an Allen, a Mahomes, a Herbert? Doesn't that maximize it?
It does.
Wait, I would much rather take that without question. Like that's how I view the draft. I view the draft on I want the guy who I think can be the best. That's who I want. That's why Caleb Williams is my QB1. That's why Drake May is my QB2.
I agree to that. Well, what is JJ McCarthy's ceiling? Like, what do you truly believe he's going to become in the NFL? Because, at the very least, some of these other quarterbacks I saw, okay. From what I've seen I haven't watched every game of JJ McCarthy, but from what I'm seeing, I don't see this next elite quarterback. I just don't see it. I don't see it from what I've seen. And the stats obviously don't represent that. Obviously, it's limited based off the Jim Harbaugh offense, and they like to run the ball. But I just don't see what everybody else is seeing when it comes to JJ.
I mean, I have a second-round grade on him. It's not that I'm super. I disagree with the fact that he should be going top 15. But what can he be at his best? I don't know. Can't he be like, I don't know, like I think this. I don't really know if there's a comp because we haven't really seen a quarterback kind of built like him. He's kind of tall, slenderish guy. He has a good arm. I'll give him this. He's very accurate outside the pocket.
Facts.
Very accurate outside the pocket, which matters. That matters a lot, and that helps a lot. But most of his problems is within the structure stuff. But like I've been saying this forever, that stuff can be taught. And me and Hellfire have gone over this debate many, many times. But like that's why I believe, like that's why I like those high ceiling quarterbacks, because that stuff can be taught. And we've seen guys learn that. Josh Allen learned that. Lamar learned that. Mahomes learned that. We've seen guys go into the NFL with, and yes, he doesn't have the tools of those guys. I completely get that. But we've seen guys with good tools, former 5-stars, or just stupidly athletic guys go into the NFL, get the right coach, sit and learn and develop the processing, the ability to sit in the pocket and hit throws with anticipation. We've seen this a lot, and that's why teams like JJ McCarthy. Is he as tall as he is as an Anthony Richardson? Obviously not, but another reason why I believe he's getting pushed so high is because next year's quarterback draft just isn't very good. Like, think what you want about Shedeur, Beck, Ewers. They're not Caleb. They're not Drake. I don't even think they're Jaden Daniels. Like, that's why.
Yeah, he's not wrong though. That's the thing. It's just I think when we go into this next year draft class, when we start talking about it, we're gonna notice a massive difference, especially I feel like not only in just the quarterback position, but with the wide receivers too. Because when I look at what we're probably gonna see in 2025, not a lot of names on the board jump out to me right now, just from what I've seen. Because you look at what's coming into this draft, and we were going through it in the mock draft, some of the dudes that are going to be not even make it out in the first round are just incredible talents. And you look at 2025, and there's some names that I could say, like Donnie, you already said, like the Quinn Ewers, the Shedeurs, maybe Jackson Dart pop out in my head here and there. But then outside of that, it's just like, okay, then it's just like there's everybody else. And I know we still have a full season and everything, and so this whole opinion for me could change. But right now, it's just like we're looking at a super talented class right now. And I think when you look at players, especially like the JJs and the Bo Nixes, these guys, if put into a situation where I see them being able to come out and actually succeed, they could come out to be great NFL talents. And that's what I feel like. But when I look at the task right now, there's a lot of guys I'm looking at, and Donnie, you can speak about this more because I know you go way more in depth to this than I personally do. There's a lot of guys I look at, and it's like there's so many flaws that I see that I feel like if they do that in an NFL game, they'll get killed for it. And I think it's harder to predict that with this class, because this class I feel like is way more refined and at least polished in my eyes as prospects. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just with a lot of the prospects, they're just all great. And so regardless of who goes off, they're all just solid talents all around, at least in my eyes.
So for the last 20-ish minutes, since we were still talking about prospects and everything, one thing I think will be interesting to talk about to kind of end the show is the rest of the wide receivers. I'm gonna be honest, because this wide receiver class is so deep that I do think some other people should be talked about. Obviously, we mocked Keon getting drafted, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin, Rome, Malik, Leggett, and I think AD got drafted, right? AD got drafted.
Worthy, where's Worthy drafted also?
And Worthy, yeah. J-Rod picked Worthy with the Ravens, yes.
So that's what, seven or eight?
7 or 8.
Which is reasonable.
And I think they were like, do we have 3 in the top 12?
Damn, a quarter.
We have 3 in the top. We have 3 in the top 6.
Damn.
Yeah, we had 3 in the top 6.
So
no. 3 in the top 7. 3 in the top 7. My bad. 3 in the top 7.
Yeah, a quarter of the draft is receivers or the first round.
Yeah, it was receivers, quarterbacks, and then a tackle.
So what are some of the other receivers that we haven't talked about that are probably going to make some huge noise?
I mean, I guess I'll go first since I'm, I guess the super big draft guy, I guess. I mean, this is just what I'll say. I won't say a name. I'll let you guys say names, but this is something that we'll say. So if you guys, this is my first time being on Player's Choice, been having a great time and whatnot. Don't get me wrong with all that stuff, but you guys don't know who I am. It's my first time. I've been doing this draft stuff for a long time. I've been doing it since 2017. I've been having a blast with it every year. So I like to grade prospects. I usually aim for about 250 prospects watch a year. I usually try to get somewhere around that number. I'm big into the draft. That's just me. But every year, I'll watch a guy and I'm like, I don't know if I would draft that guy. Like it's just the nature of college and football. There's just going to be guys who you just don't think are good enough. As of right now, I have watched, how many receivers have I watched? I watched 33 receivers in this draft. The most I've ever had in a single draft where I thought this many guys should be drafted was like 26. I've watched, how many did I say? 33? I watched 33, and I think every single one of these guys should be drafted.
Oh,
That is how absolutely stupid this receiver draft is. It's dumb. There should be 20 guys drafted in the first 3 rounds. 20.
mhm.
Like this receiver draft is so good. It's the best I've ever seen. And it's probably gonna be the best we've seen for years.
Also,
This
if you
best
want to
one
bring up,
best
like,
one since 2014.
if you want to bring
Yes.
up a receiver that you think is also like getting overhyped, you can do that too. But yeah, go ahead, Dev.
All right, this is a guy I know personally. Went to middle school with him. He went to Keaton High School. Went to Alabama for a little bit. Then went to UCF. Javon Baker, one of the best route runners. That's my dog. I know him. He's one of the best route runners in the class. And Steve Smith said it best. He makes the easy catch look hard, but he makes the hard catches look easy. And also, I think this dude is sometimes because I think the problem with when he does make those easy catches look hard because he has his hands up already before, but that's something that he's already working on. He gotten faster, gotten stronger. He's 6'1", big body. I compare him to Keenan Allen a little bit faster, and that's because he's my dog. So I'm gonna hype him up. So like, I'm not gonna say, but I really like his route run. I think he'll be a perfect Z. This, like you said, this receiver class is insane. Cause I also really like Malachi Corley because I think he can be
He's so
better
good.
than. I think he
So
can be
good.
better than Debo because I like his route running a little bit more than Debo. That's why I like his route running more. I think he can be utilized more as a receiver, but he is gonna be a gadget guy because that's what he's the best utilized at. If he goes to a team like, I don't know, what's it called, the Rams or any not McVay, what's the name? Shanahan
Shanahan?
system, any
Yeah.
Shanahan system, he'll be utilized for. And overhyped, I don't even know him getting overhyped. I ain't gonna lie. I think people are too. I think people are too hard on Keon Coleman's 40. I'm not gonna lie.
See, Dev is just too nice. That's why he refused to say anybody's
I can't think of
overhyped.
no one who's overhyped though, because I think the
10th
people are
pick?
overhyped.
10th pick, Keon?
All right, let me a
10th
little
pick was
overhyped.
kind of.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
For 10th, yeah. But other than that, Johnny Wilson's a tight end. I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
Just
I
to
think
piss
he's a tight
Dave
end
off.
too.
Matter of fact, Keon Coleman's a tight end just to piss Durag Dave off. There you go.
All right. Who else wants to go?
I mean,
I'm
the
gonna
guy
say
that.
it. I'm going
go
to say
ahead,
it since
Alpha.
nobody else is. Xavier Worthy's overhyped because of the 4-2.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
always somebody. There's always somebody that falls for it.
Here's the thing about Worthy.
Sorry, it's overhyped because the
If
man
you
can't
watch
catch.
Xavier Worthy on tape, you knew he was already fast. Why do you have to realize again that he's fast when you already knew he was fast? That's listen, he broke the record and that's awesome. That's super cool. Like, it's fun to talk about. He broke the 40 time record. But we knew he was fast already. So why should your opinion get higher because you knew he was fast?
It's because they see the potential. They think, he could become a Deshaun Jackson. They could potentially be Tyreek Hill because we see other fast receivers that pan out, and obviously they'll ignore the red flags because if you're so
Tyquan Thornton, end of
physically,
story.
yeah, that too. I guess
Wasn't there 3 years in a row where the Raiders just picked the fastest receiver?
And it didn't work out for him.
Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs could have worked out if he didn't.
No, he could not have. I did
He
not.
was, to be
Henry
fair,
Ruggs was a
Grant,
good
he was balling.
No, I never said he wasn't baller. I just felt like the Raiders picking him wasn't the thing I would have done. But I mean, it.
He had off the field issues. That's it.
What was it? Hayward Bay.
I think
it was.
I think it's just like I think it's just like they look for a lot of teams. They're looking at this shiny thing that they saw. He broke the combine record. It's beautiful and all, and they're using that to outpace everything. I've seen dudes pushing him super higher. I had a dude tell me that the dude was top 3 now in his draft rankings, because of
Alright, that's
the,
crazy.
with
That's
the-
crazy.
and I
People
think
are
it's
the
crazy,
NFL.
and I
Like-
get it. Like, it's awesome, but we still have to understand there's more aspects to a receiver than his speed. That's the thing I'm trying to say. So when you look at that from that perspective, you gotta calm down. I
Hey,
still think he
that's
can be a first-round pick. I just think a lot of people are shooting this dude into these rankings, and he doesn't belong there yet. Don't get me wrong. Xavier Worthy is a talented wide receiver. I watched all of his film at Texas. I watched this dude play. This dude is an incredible player. I just don't think he beats like the 4 or 5 guys in the top of this draft. Like, I'm sorry.
And
The
also,
truth
and
about
also the thing
Xavier Worthy is that, like, when I watched the footage that I saw regarding Xavier Worthy, when I was like looking at wide receivers, because wide receiver is my favorite position in football, so I really like to pay attention to what the wide receivers are doing. And Xavier Worthy, I was like, okay, he's a really good punt returner. Okay, nice, and he's a gadget player. Like that's the impression that I was getting when I saw Xavier Worthy, because it didn't seem like he was utilized often enough to kind of run routes and make a play in the middle of the field.
just God-given speed.
So yeah, he has God-given speed, and I do want to put this stat out there for people. So Xavier Worthy had elite top speed, so like the fastest you run, obviously when you have the ball in your hand. So there's only one player in college that had a higher average top speed than Xavier Worthy. Can you guys guess who it was?
AD
Is
Mitchell.
he a
College?
receiver?
Not AD. Yeah, in college.
Is he a receiver?
Yes.
Is it? Oh no! Is it that? Oh, what's his name? That one dude from South Carolina who's like the big, like freaky, like athlete dude. What's his name? Is it him or no?
No.
Okay, is it Zach Branch?
No.
I'm surprised that's Zachary, because Zachary,
It's not.
he's
Malik
gonna be
Washington?
cold to come out.
Nope. Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors
Mm.
had the highest average top speed. Bro, Malik, I am so confident that he's gonna pan out in that.
Yeah, he would have ran like 4.3 in my opinion if he ran the combine. In
Yeah,
that
he's
range.
explosive. He obviously can run routes. He can catch the ball. He has really good hands. So
Here's
yeah,
my thing.
Neighbors really
I think Worthy's better than like Thornton and John Ross. I'm not saying he's gonna be like elite top 5, top 30 receiver, but I do see the concerns because he is like what Bam said. He's skinny. He's like 160 in the 160s, right?
Yeah, I think he's
161.
And I feel like he's gonna be more like a Scotty Miller, a better version of Scotty Miller, or like
I don't even know. Scotty Miller at least had more of a frame to him when he was in Bowling Green.
or I'm trying to think of a deep threat guy that's just used to go deep really in the league.
He's gonna be more of a gadget. I don't think he's gonna be a deep threat. They're gonna
But
give him
also
screen passes and let him kind of work.
I will say this, Donnie Grant. After doing some evaluation, for me personally, Latu is my edge one. I know they got Dallas Turner, but Latu's such refined. He's such refined, like he's so refined, like pure. I just see him just translating, boom, like that. Like even though Dallas Turner's a freakish athlete, like JJ told me, said I think I want the Falcons get Latu if he's there. If we're not going receiver or anything, I'll rewatch the film. I'm like, I see. If it wasn't for that neck injury, that's the only thing I didn't got it.
Yeah, that was the thing that scared a lot of people when you look at it.
Sucks, man, because if he doesn't have that neck injury, I think he's.
And I think it was just a freak accident. Like you couldn't.
It was a freak accident,
and you couldn't do anything to stop it. Like the way it went, it was like you couldn't. There was nothing that could have been done to prevent it. And unfortunately, with a sport like this, you're gonna have stuff like that happen. But I still think he's a way better prospect than people are giving.
I want to say this real quick because I do find it funny, just kind of off topic about the Latu stuff. I said earlier, like he kind of had the Jalen Phillips path of like, he has a crazy injury because Jalen Phillips, believe it was a ton of concussions, like 3 or 4 concussions, and everyone was worried about it. Like he had to retire because of it. And what's funny enough is he was at UCLA and then left and then dominated Miami. And then Latu leaves Washington. And then UCLA sees this guy and they're like, "Nah, we're not going to make that same mistake twice." And then they bit
the blow with that one.
I do have a question for you guys. Well, one, Xavier Worthy is barely bigger than me. He's 5'9", 160. I'm like 5'8", 140 something, 150 something. Like, dang, he's barely bigger than me. 2, why don't we see linebackers go first round like that anymore? Because like obviously Payne Willis is really good. How come we don't see? Is it the same reason with running backs, or like how come we don't see linebackers like
Well, we've
projected?
seen the devaluation of running backs, linebackers. It seems like safeties now, and those are just the positions. It feels like you can just at least teams feel like I can just get this guy later in the draft, or I can just find one in free agency and make it work, which is crazy because at least this free agency period, we have a ton. It feels like we have a ton of good Jordan Poyers on the market, Justin Simmons. Like that's why I think it was your Cardinals or no, it was the Jaguars who released their safety. And I'm like, I was looking at a safety in the mock draft, but I was like, they could just go get a Jordan Poyer. Hopefully he stays healthy, right? That's been a big problem for him. But that's a good player to have. It's just that he's making too much money for his injury risk.
Also, another reason, like to answer your question about the draft, I think this is a relatively weaker-ish safety draft. But I will say next year's safety class in 2025 is much better. Like we could potentially see 3 first-round safeties that year. I won't throw out names because it's super early for that stuff can change. But like it's like that. And then the Peyton Wilson thing. I'll say this, as the draft dude, whatever. On tape, Peyton Wilson is a first-round pick. Like, no question about it. Like, he's got crazy sideline-to-sideline speed, amazing coverage ability. Yeah, he's a little skinny, so maybe you worry about that because he only weighed in about 230, 235, and he's about 6'4".
Only is crazy.
But, well, how it is. But now, like, on tape, there's no doubt about it. He's a first-round pick. But the problem is, he's torn his ACL twice. He had another elbow injury, and then also he's 24. However, the medicals at the combine seemed good, and if they are good, even with those injuries, even with him being 24, he still might be a first-round pick.
Also, you have to consider
that's how good he is. Like when you look at it, just ignore everything, just the tape. Like who had the best tape of any defensive player in this draft? The two for me are Latu and Peyton Wilson. And I think if any of you guys have watched them as well, you might agree.
I might have to peep, but we also have to always remember that it's also dependent on the current climate of football needs, basically, right? As of right now, a lot of teams need offensive line help because there's just a lot of bad offensive line play that I saw this year, I'm gonna be honest. And then for some reason, a lot of teams need wide receiver, which is also a thing because it seems like there's 2 for very specific teams, and then these other teams bro, why do you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and I have Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins, and Wan'Dale Robinson? Like, what is going on?
And the receivers are getting older.
Parity over here. This doesn't make sense right now. So
right, in a perfect world, like I said before the show, in a perfect world for the Pats, I have them getting receiver first, receiver second, tight end third, running back fourth. I have them doubling down, or I have them tripling down on getting skill positions because of the market for the receivers in free agency is dwindling. The market for tight ends in free agency, and plus, if they're going to move on, if they're going to continue with the theme of getting guys that are athletic, that could work as in a skill position set, I think Theo Johnson's a Pats target from Penn State. The guy that just randomly shot up a tight end at the combine.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and then and with running backs being graded so low this year just because of there not being a lot of high potential guys, and the ones that are, Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks, all have extensive injury history. Benson especially. That's another part as to why running backs this year are graded not as well. Like I have Braylon Allen as my RB1, and if this were a normal draft class with everybody healthy, he wouldn't be.
All right. Well, for the last 5 minutes, everybody on here, what is the most ideal pick that you want for your respective team?
I'll go first just because mine's super easy. Marvin Harrison Jr. at pick 4 to the Arizona Cardinals. And then at pick 27, because I guess we have another first-round pick, preferably an edge rusher, maybe interior defensive lineman or a tackle. In a perfect world, my best possible, want the most. if Latu falls because of medicals, I would love that. I don't
That'd
know.
be crazy.
I don't know.
If Latu falls, y'all better trade that 27th pick up. Y'all better
Yeah,
trade.
I don't know. Okay, you know what? Let me say it again. Realistic fall. Who would I want the most? I'll say Johnny Newton because I think he can realistically fall there.
Yeah.
Okay. Random.
The Patriots fans.
Mark.
If I'm being
serious.
look, I would let Hellfire because that's Patriots. I just Bears don't overthink this, man. Just draft Caleb,
My boy Grant.
trade Justin, and just move on from it. It's so easy, and I understand that he has defenders, but you just can't. Like, this is how people lose their jobs over this.
No,
you
just can't.
So I just said, no matter what anybody says, and it just sucks. Like I said it yesterday, it's just bad timing for Justin. If he was year 2, maybe he have the maybe that'd be good enough for him to skip over and they could trade back. But just take Caleb, try to do right by Justin and send him someplace where he can flourish. Because I've even seen people say, why don't you just keep both of them? And I'm like, you're already trying to now you're bringing in Caleb and you gotta fix whatever the hell is going on with Justin Fields. You don't got time for that. So just take Caleb. And with the other pick, I do what I did. I'd get a lineman to protect Caleb, but if not, trade up. No, get a lineman. Don't even trade up. Just get a lineman.
We're talking about the whole thing with the Bears.
You just got to keep swinging until you find one. You got to understand they've never had one.
If we're going to talk about keep swinging until you're fine, how about you keep swinging, trade Fields, trade the one down the link.
Yo, that is chaos, bro.
And get Jaden Daniels with that pick, and then with your 9, get Malik Neighbors. You can get your quarterback wide receiver duo. And
are you really willing to skip?
Hellfire just wants to piss off
Hellfire. I love the chaos. But what if Caleb goes to if you said trade him to 3 and Caleb if Chicago's watching Caleb
I wouldn't trade him to 3. I would say trade down regardless.
Okay, whoever let's just say this. Whoever gets that pick.
Let's not get too much into the weeds.
I'll say
we only got 3 minutes.
I'll say this. So the Chicago Bears are going to watch whoever picks Caleb, and if he goes off, you're going to be sitting there once again. That could have been our guy. That's what you're going to do. And then guess what? The owner's walking into the GM office and be like, "You're fired, coach. You're fired." Because
all right, Grant, what pick do you think is ideal for the Saints?
So, if most ideal is like for me, I think with the Saints, as we all know, the Saints are in literal salary cap hell. So we are literally cutting people.
Just take JJ
down the roster. Honestly, for me, we need to build our offensive line. It's all awful. And the guy that I really like, my personal opinion, Oluwaseyi Fashanu from Penn State. I feel like with what I saw from him as Penn State as a offensive blocker, I think he's just going to be a nasty edge for what we need. And I think what we need is to build that offensive line because a lot of people are telling me we need a new quarterback. That's not the move. As much as I would love that we got Derek Carr for a reason. And if we're going to if I'm going to have Derek Carr as my quarterback, we need to be able to support him as the quarterback. You can't get to a point with this team where it's like you want to automatic. Like when we signed him, I said I didn't have 1,000% high hopes for what I would see. But I think if we get him better offensive protection, I think we can see Derek Carr be able to progress better as a player on the offense. Now it's all dependent because, as you know, we're planning to release Michael Thomas. So we're probably going to need another wide receiver to match up with Chris Olave. But if I'm going like for the most ideal pick, we just need an offensive tackle and start rebuilding that O-line. And I think Fashanu is the best option we have.
All right, what do you got for Falcons?
The most realistic right now is is Latu or Dallas, but if Jaden Daniels somehow falls to 8, we can trade him, get him. Or if we get Malik Neighbors at a thing, get him. We'll figure out the QB, because I don't know if
will you figure out the QB? That's what y'all been saying for a while.
I think because we might start correct. I think we're
how much? No,
Radell, you're going to trot out Desmond Ridder again, aren't you?
Radell,
that's what you're going to do.
There is viable smoke
Wait, what?
and mirrors. There's something viable going on. about Kirk Cousins buying a house in Atlanta.
I've heard.
His
Yeah.
wife's from
I
Atlanta.
saw something about that.
Hey,
Hey,
crazy?
I don't
My
mind
mom
Kirk
seen
Cousins going
before.
to Atlanta so he could throw
He's
to
from-
my
he's in
boy
the- he lives in
Blake
Alpharetta.
London, and I'm here for it, bro.
I'm not
Kirk
gonna lie.
Cousins,
You just got to figure out the quarterback situation. Figure
I think
everything
we're signing
else out
Kirk. I
because you
really
cannot
think
have.
we're signing Kirk.
Maybe I'm weird.
All right, we
But
gotta
I would rather
end
be
it.
wrong
We
on Kirk
gotta
Cousins
end
than-
it. We got another
He tore his
show coming
ACL.
up.
He tore his Achilles. I'd rather
Yeah,
be wrong.
don't
than-
risk it. Get some.
Nah, I'm all right.
Atlanta's gonna get Kirk, and they're
He's
gonna be
also about to
amazing.
turn 40.
There's another show coming up called From the Logo. Make sure you guys tune into that. But that's all we got for today. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back
Subscribe to
next week.
BSS.
Bro, we talking about this after. We talking.
Donnie,
Ain't
don't
no
you have
way.
a